Hello. One of today's artists said she learnt how to paint by listening to the judges on this programme. Another learnt by watching cartoons.
Let's hope it wasn't SpongeBob SquarePants.
There's no way to talk about Kate. Welcome to Portrait Artist of the Year.
Over the past 9 years, hundreds of exceptionally talented artists from across Britain and Ireland have made it to the heats of Portrait Artist of the Year.
There have been moments of unbridled jubilation.
I didn't expect this at all. I'm shaking right now.
But it hasn't always been smooth painting.
Wish I had a bit longer, really.
I want to scream.
Each year, the life-changing prize has been a £10,000 commission for a distinguished institution of a celebrated sitter.
It's beautiful. So how much?
Deciding which artists win their heats are our judges. Art historian Kate Bryan, independent curator Kathleen Soriano, and award-winning artist Tai Shan Scherenberg.
The submissions this year have been very exciting. Compositionally, they've been adventurous, technically really brilliant. And so I've got a feeling that this year we're really moving the idea of what portrait can be forward, and long may it last.
So with 9 fantastic winners so far, just who will be next?
The winner of Portrait Artist of the Year is...
Competing in today's heat are Matthew Lyons, a design standards manager living in Beeston. Londoner Allegra Gordon, a freelance illustrator who also works in a pottery cafe. Anna Loy, a music student from Liverpool. Central St Martin's student Leah Brunet-Wong from London. And Melissa Speed, a heritage volunteer based in Buxton.
I was in an exam once and I couldn't remember how to spell the word boat. So my worst fear is that I pick up my pastel and then I'm like, how do I draw?
Also being put through their paces are Sinead Lawless, an artist and teacher from Cork, professional artist Tim Hall, who runs painting holidays in Cornwall, Victoria Sills, who's a full-time artist based in Westcliff-on-Sea, and Emily Rogers, a full-time artist who lives in London.
I am feeling pretty nervous. In a way, it's a normal day painting someone, but it feels very not normal.
While the artists prepare themselves for the day ahead, their submissions are scrutinised by the judges.
Well, here are the submissions. What do you make of them?
I'm particularly taken by the face and the shadows under the eyes. There's an intensity of focus.
I mean, it's such an extraordinary thing because it's so believable. You know, you're perfectly happy to be transported to, I don't know, the 17th or the 16th century.
Now, this is rather sublime.
It's very, very simple, but it's beautifully painted. The hair is fabulous. It's much more complex than it looks at first glance. We often look at the Florence School style of painting, but what we're also looking for is something that moves it on a little bit. Here, there's a lightness of touch. There's a freshness about it.
Well, here is a mysterious one.
I love the dead plant in the foreground, and actually, that's why I love artists. If it was me, I would have cut it off with a pair of scissors. I don't want that to ruin my painting. But of course, an artist understands that this is a really interesting device.
This is a very beautiful little painting.
I get the feeling that this artist has put their entire life story into a single work. It's someone who loves symbolist painting.
So it'll be interesting to see today whether she brings in sort of symbolic objects, because this huge hand reaching out, which seems to me to dominate the picture. But what does it tell you?
That she's a high priestess and I better be good.
Now, this is a more little agonised piece.
You have to go close to this image to see it, and in doing that, you suddenly have a very intimate conversation.
It just has so much power. I mean, there's an intensity to it. I marvel at their achievement. I really hope, actually, that they're brave enough to go small today.
Someone totally exhausted, and yet not an exhausting painting at all.
No, it's a really lively painting, and it's got almost like a comical quality to it. There's a slight graphic way in which the plant is done and the boot is done. And then you get to the face, and actually there's nothing comical about the face.
Now, here we have someone very conscious of light.
I mean, it's almost getting close to photorealism. I get the sense that it's a man with no shirt on, wearing a bubble hat in a loft, and there's stuff in the background.
This is a challenge, isn't it?
We find every year that we have artists showing their skill by using this device of the blind casting shadows on the face, and it is very difficult to make it believable. What this artist has done, I think it's believable, but it's just on the realm of abstraction as well.
It's a little menacing.
Yeah.
I want to see you cowering in front of the canvas.
Before they can produce a portrait in a day, the artists must meet the sitters.
Artist, your sitter today is a singing powerhouse who is no stranger to competitions. Please welcome the brilliantly talented Fleur East.
Hello. Lovely to meet you. Lovely to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hello, Fleur. Yeah, lovely to meet you. Hello. Nice to meet you. Lovely to meet you. Wow. Hello.
Have a seat. What are you looking for today from your portrait?
I'd like them to try and capture my personality, which is going to be quite difficult with me just sitting still.
We asked you to bring along something that had significance to you.
Yes.
What have you got with you?
I am wearing a ring from my father's ring after he passed away in 2020.
That's lovely. Have you got any advice for our three artists about how to tackle the day?
Battle it out.
Battle it out.
I'm very excited.
Artist, your sitter is a writer, broadcaster and cultural commentator. Her tireless work for comic relief for 3 decades earned her an OBE. Please welcome Emma Freud. Emma Freud and friend. What's his name?
His name's Badger.
Badger. And
Yes.
he's going to be happy today?
I think so. He's not the most expressive of cats, and he doesn't do much except sit.
Well, he'll be perfect for the artist in that case, because he
I'm
won't
hoping.
wriggle around.
I'm hoping.
Well, Emma, it's obvious you have a very illustrious name, particularly in the art world.
Yes, it's been quite a big name to have grown up with.
Did you grow up with paintbrushes in your hand?
No, absolutely no artistic ability whatsoever. And my dad was hopeless at it. My uncle wasn't bad.
Well, you're going to have a great day, I can see that. I hope you enjoy yourself.
Oh, it's my artists! Look at them, aren't they gorgeous?
Artist, your sitter today is a screenwriter, producer and director who has gifted the world with some of Britain's most loved comedies, including Blackadder, Notting Hill, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, to name but a few. It's the exceptionally talented Richard Curtis.
So pleased to meet you. Hello. Terrifying day. How are you doing? Hello. Great to see you. Great suit.
Thank you very much.
I was going to wear that, but then I thought it's too flashy.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm a huge fan of this show, so I'm excited and nervous and wish I was better looking. I was going to lose a stone before coming on, but it's been a difficult month and there have been a lot of croissants.
And what have you brought along with you today?
I brought along kind of the history of my life in some ways. These are scripts. My life is basically just a pile of printed papers.
Fantastic. Well, I'll leave you to gaze adoringly at Richard and work out how to paint him.
Very good luck.
Artists, it's time to turn those canvases into works of art. You have 4 hours for your portrait. Your time starts now.
Sorry, can I get some photos?
Yeah. How do you want me to look?
Something really naughty.
I'll just think, how will I actually paint you? Okay, I'm gonna get into it.
OK.
Can I get you to grab Badger?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I'm too scared to start.
Is that it? Have you got it?
Done.
With inspiring sitters and objects, there's a lot for our artists to consider in the early stages of the competition.
It can get quite messy, Fleur, so if you see me banging my board or wiping my hands or anything, just ignore me.
Sinead, I've been so looking forward to talking to you after seeing your submission. What a painting. Obviously, that must have been a very time-consuming work. I see today that you've gone smaller immediately.
Yeah, his eyes are just beautiful, and I just really wanted to get in on those eyes.
Sinead Lawless lives in Dublin with her young daughter. Her self-portrait in oils took 10 hours and is layered with symbolism of her past, present and future.
So talk to me about the scripts, because I imagine they must be very tempting for you, given your submission.
I'm sad because when I came in, I was like, oh, the scripts are fantastic. If I had more time, I'd just do the whole lot.
Today, in order to deliver the painting, you've got to be a great editor of yourself.
I do. I had a plan.
Right.
The plan was to do an underpainting, and I found myself going straight in with colour, and I'm like, oh my God, so the plan's already gone out the window, but I'm just going to go with it. I have to just go with the flow.
That's how
how long are we in? And I'm already like, I'm just going for it.
It's looking great already. I think you made some great choices.
Emma seems to have quite a cheeky personality. I was hoping for moody, but I think she's just too nice for that.
Zumba instructor Victoria Sills painted her acrylic self-portrait in 4.5 hours. It shows her desperate to go out into the sun, but anxious about lockdown.
Victoria, you've got a rather lovely photograph of Emma. Now, to get into it, you've done some rather beautiful drawings.
Yeah, I like to do warm-up sketches first, just to get any tension out and understand the face a bit more before I start to do the main drawing.
And her face, from personal experience, I know there's some faces that the likeness comes easier than others. So when you were choosing the photograph with that in mind, were you trying to find angles?
I like that three-quarter profile, and hopefully something that I can get a bit more depth and play with the shadow.
That seems very systematic.
Yeah, it is
and
a bit.
it produces results, I presume, you've in the past.
Hopefully, yes, it has. I did a practice yesterday and I fitted into the time, so that's a good sign.
Flair as a sitter is absolutely amazing. I think she's absolutely stunning. When I first saw her, I was in awe.
Anna Loy is a tenor trombone student at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. Her submission is in oils and took 15 hours. It is part of a series of annual self-portraits.
Anna, one of the things we really loved about your self-portrait was there's so much character in that turn of the head and in the volume of the neck.
Yeah.
So here you've gone with something much more conventional. Where are you going to find the character?
In the eyes, hopefully.
Okay.
And then in the hair and smile.
So you're playing it quite straight. What made you decide to do that?
I tried different angles, but I feel like the angle that I went with has just really captured hair and, like, hip power in a way as well. I think I didn't want to stress myself out, and if I did have more time, then I probably would have got a bit bigger.
Right, well, it's a nice start, really nice start.
Thank you.
Tim, we've got Emma Freud here, formidable presence.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Really delighted. I asked her to give me a cheeky look because I think that's actually how she is most of the time. I'm just guessing. So I've gone for a sort of cheeky look.
Tim Hall comes from a family of artists, so it's no surprise that he's spent his entire life with a paintbrush in his hand. His self-portrait in oils took 38 hours and aims to capture the contrast between shadows and highlights.
In passing, it doesn't look as though much is going on, but a lot is going on, isn't
Yes,
it?
the gridding is important because I really want to just have a fantastic time with the paint so I can get a really good drawing down. When I start painting, I'll be fine.
You'll feel really
But
good.
yes, I'll have a smile.
When will you put paint on?
10 minutes, maybe.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a great moment.
It will be a moment.
I can't wait.
OK. Thank you, John.
Good luck.
Today's artists have been busy painting Fleur East, Emma Freud and Richard Curtis for 1 hour.
I did rush a bit at the beginning, but I think that was just down to nerves. So I just took a moment to breathe.
Normally I like to get the sketching and underpainting done in an hour, so I've got 3 hours to paint, so I'm a little bit behind schedule, but hopefully I'll fit it in.
I'm not happy with the amount I've done to this point. I wish I was further along. I'm feeling the time pressure. It's stressing me out.
For the last hour, our 9 artists have been portraying singer Fleur East, writer and director Richard Curtis, and the broadcaster and producer Emma Freud. But one artist has been focusing on our furrier fourth sitter.
I have painted cats before, mainly on their own, and definitely not in a 4-hour time limit. Definitely not coupled with an actual portrait, which I've also not done in a 4-hour time limit. So this is going to be very interesting for me.
Leah Brunet-Wong is in her first year at Central St Martin's. Her self-portrait in oils took 10 hours and was inspired by a painting by Emma's uncle, the artist Lucian Freud.
Leah, you made it worthwhile Badger coming out today, appearing in this beautiful double portrait. How are you feeling?
I'm quite terrified because I have a lot to do.
But I love the shape that you created. So you've got the sort of pyramid of forms. It gives it a great energy. How long did you spend making this drawing and thinking about the composition?
Too long. For the first hour, I was debating over changing it,
right,
which I think lost me quite a lot of time.
Why did you want to change it then?
I think the scale is just slightly bigger than I would have normally gone for. And then also I kind of know when something's going to go right sometimes with painting, and I wasn't feeling that for this.
Right, yeah.
So...
Is it starting to happen now?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, yes it is. Well, listen, I'm thrilled that you've included Badger. I really am. Good luck with it.
My process is just kind of killing the white of the canvas, so getting the key features in, and then I'll start putting the background in.
Emily Rogers trained in Florence. Her self-portrait in oils was painted from life and shows her wearing a jacket she inherited from her grandmother. The painting took 15 hours to produce.
So where you've placed his head in the canvas,
yeah,
were you quite impulsive and just started, or did you think it through? I don't see any drawings, so you always paint directly?
Yeah, I paint directly, but I was like drawing with the darks.
Yeah.
And then I wanted him high enough up so that if I did anything below, I've got enough room.
Yeah.
And I also think it gives him a bit more like strength.
But also interesting, you started blocking in the shirt and you're using a version of a limited palette, but instead of using blue, you used a darker colour. Are you looking for contrast? Is that the problem?
I want to find the darks, and then that just helps me.
But also the green you've chosen, it sort of goes towards jade, where there it's kind of emerald. So it's all up for grabs, in a sense.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh, my God. Well, I hope we will know after 4 hours.
Me too.
The composition is based on a composition that I'm really kind of used to, so very, very comfortable with. So I'm trying to make it easy for myself, really, by making it as familiar as possible.
Matthew Lyons is a design standards manager who's created everything from pogo sticks to supermarket tills. His self-portrait in oils and acrylic took 8 hours.
So tell me about this wash that you have on the background. It feels sort of textured to me.
Yes, so I apply the texture. It's like an acrylic primer. It's a bit like polyfiller.
Okay.
And I just think it gives the line a little bit more interest.
And it's raised.
But it just creates a nice, interesting line.
But also, I suppose, because it sort of makes it slightly shaky as well. But I've noticed you're also shaking as you're painting. Is that part of your technique?
No, it's part of my nerves. So I'm feeling a bit nervous.
Well, look, it's a great shape that you've got there. And let's hope that more of Fleur emanates from her face.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Fleur will burst forth.
Yeah.
To help inform our artists, Fleur, Emma and Richard have each brought something from home that matters to them.
I'm delighted to talk to you here because I know that you brought something special with you.
Yes. So my father passed away in 2020 and we had a few little trinkets that we kept of his, and one was a gold ring. So me and my sister got the gold ring melted down, and then we created matching rings that we both wear on our little pinky fingers. And we've got engraved in it my father's surname, East, and then we have 3 diamonds in it as well to represent the 3 of us.
What influence did he have on you?
I mean, a huge influence. I mean, I think he's the reason why I got into music, to be honest.
To have had the name engraved too, it's a lot of trouble you've gone to.
Yes, we definitely have. And now it's almost like my good luck charm, and I just feel like My father's watching over me.
I can understand that. That's a wonderful symbol of your closeness.
Richard, you brought your day job along with you.
Yeah, I'm quite sentimental about the scripts, because actually when you're making the films, they're in front of you and you cross out the pages and make all the notes and stuff. So, like old dead friends.
Old friends. Your cat is sat next door with Em. How do you think Badger's getting on? Are you worried?
Well, I
about him?
advised against Badger, because I tried to work with Badger in a film called About Time, but he would not stay still, and I hope he's behaving better than last time.
Badgie.
Certainly less stressful for you to have a pile of scripts than trying to wrangle a cat all day.
Exactly. Not quite sure what my...
This is Badger.
I absolutely adored him up until about an hour ago, when I've just gone off him completely. It was a huge mistake bringing him, and I wish I hadn't.
But look at how beautiful he is.
Well, he's beginning to settle now, but Badger basically hasn't moved for a decade, and so I thought it would be perfect. But he arrived here, and he's basically lived in a house with just our family, and he's bored sick of us, I now realise, because as soon as he sees all of this...
He's wanted to be on a television show.
My self-portrait was an etching. I usually do that after I've done a portrait in pencil anyway, so this may end up being an etching one day, but I think it would be a bit complicated to bring a printing press here.
Allegra Gordon completed an MA at the Royal Drawing School before becoming an illustrator. Her self-portrait is an etching that captures her pensive mood in the period following an operation.
Allegra, how's it going? You're using pencils?
Yeah.
Drawing's a linear thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about how, in this case, Richard's face will be made into drawing.
I think with the way that I work, I tend to get in really close, and I think that's how I hopefully bring it to life, because it's very sort of intimate.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because a small image, you have to go close in to see what's going on, and then you're in this very intimate relationship. So, but you're working on quite a large piece of paper. Will it be torn down?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So I did start with this one, just as a sort of preliminary kind of sketch. I think this will be the final one, but yeah, it will definitely be cut down and cropped. I just like to work with more space so that I have more control over the cropping once I've finished.
Well, look, I've been watching you draw, and I can see Richard, the sense of Richard emerging, so please continue.
So, Melissa, pastels. Why pastels?
Well, it was sort of accidental, really. I used to work in fine liner pens and alcohol markers, but I was getting bogged down in the detail, and I thought I want to try something different, and came across the pastels, and I thought, oh, I'll give those a go, and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love them.
History lover Melissa Speed is a regular volunteer at heritage sites across the UK. Her self-portrait in pastels took 6 hours to create.
Tell me about your self-portrait. When did you paint that? In the 1800s?
I had my crutches specially made. I used a Jacques Callot portrait as a reference. And
so
I feel
they
like
exist, those crutches?
Oh, yeah,
they're
real,
not,
yeah,
just not
because these would
them.
ruin their look, you know?
It would slightly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't be in the right era anymore.
Yeah.
They're actually really comfortable to use.
OK.
You know, they're quite handy. They're really well made. And I love being like that. And, you know, technology scares me, the modern world scares me a bit. And when I'm there in that costume, I feel like I'm really me.
That's fascinating, because that's what self-portraiture can really reveal, isn't it? What the artist thinks about themselves, not... Yeah.
And we see ourselves differently.
Well, I can't wait to see how you get on.
Thank you.
Our 9 artists are nearing the midway point of today's challenge.
I hope I'll be able to save this.
So next, I've got to work out the top and the design and the scripts, so there's still a lot to do.
At the end of our tour, I'm struggling with some of the colours in the face. I need to just trust the process. It's one of those where it looks ugly and then it gets better.
Emma Freud, Richard Curtis, Fleur East and Badger have been trying to sit still for 2 hours, and they've been encouraged to do so with some secret snacks.
Let me know if you'd like a biscuit, Fleur.
Oh, what kind of biscuits?
Shortbread and custard creams.
Custard cream is my favourite biscuit. Wow. Thank you.
But bribery will not work on the judges.
The wall this morning, I thought, was very strong and promised a lot. Is the day living up to that promise?
It's a slow day, but it's a really strong wall, dangerously strong.
I've rarely come across three artists who are as thrilled as Melissa, Matthew and Anna are with their sitter.
Fleur's phenomenal. She's so strong, and I think they've all picked up on that to some degree.
Melissa's working away with her pastels. She's a bit concerned she's lost the likeness. Is she right to be worried?
I think Melissa's a phenomenal colourist. She's made a mouth of Fleur's, which is just I can't comprehend. It's so believable. But it's only one element of the face, so she's got to bring everything up to the same level, or try to sort of bring everything down again.
You can't fault Matthew's ambition, but has he bitten off more than he can chew?
It's really difficult when you've got an artist who's got a canvas quite that big. He really wants to give a very kind of majestic-looking portrait of Fleur. I think he'll be fine. One of my concerns is that the likeness isn't quite there, so I think it needs to just be edited down.
Anna, in contrast to Matthew, has given us quite a close crop.
I think Anna's given us a fantastic head. We can sense the greatness of what's to come with the hair and the jacket, but the face is looking fabulous for me at the minute.
Richard's being very generous, isn't he?
Richard understands that it's a collaboration, and so he is working with his artists. It's lovely, yeah.
So Allegra gave us an etching as a submission. She's drawing with pencil. Yeah. Are we going to lose something in translation?
You know, pencil has to fight so much harder. It's got to do so much more to battle against all the others in the room, I think. So she's got a tough job.
Emily's painting from life.
What's interesting is watching an artist like that create likeness. But the one thing that I think we do want from her is some sort of intervention to this kind of Florence school old master surface that is akin to her submission, that just disrupts it.
Sinead's giving us that extreme close-up.
I think Sinead made some good decisions at the beginning of the day. I think that she's now trying lots of different tricks. You know, she's turning it upside down, she's turning it on its side, because she's not quite getting there. I think that's part of the problem. She's thinking too much about the technicalities of the painting.
Emma and Badger are such a charming pair.
Is that nice, darling?
It is great having our first cat on Portrait Artist of the Year. It is interesting, though, because you take someone like Leo, who decided to put the cat in, and now I think she might regret it because she's got a double portrait on her hands. It's not generic black fluff, is it? It's Badger. It's got to look like Badger.
Victoria wanted to paint a moody Emma, she said.
Yeah.
Right.
And Emma is not moody.
I think Victoria's done a really good job. I think the bones of it are really good. And I think we've got a bit of that tension in the way that the head is sort of cut off at the top of the bottom. I'm hopeful of what she'll achieve.
Tim's giving us that very direct gaze.
He took a long time to get the gridding done and stuff, and so now all we have are the main elements of the eyes and the mouth, and Emma's appearing. There's a lot of stuff to be filled in still. I don't get a sense of her yet, but it looks promising.
Well, as always, we're only at the halfway point. We know from experience there are some artists here who are struggling at this stage, some who are streaking ahead, but things change.
Really.
As our artists toil away, our sitters are enjoying a break from their usual working lives.
It's heaven here. This is the least I've spoken ever. Just being a bit quiet. It's not my usual habitat. I'm so in awe of their skills and their abilities to take paint and put it onto paper to create something that has an emotional response in the people who look at it. It's magical.
Today has been a very interesting experience. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before in my life. And all I've seen is the back of canvases, and I'm just bursting now to know what these paintings look like.
I'm really enjoying myself. It's a very strange day because normally every meeting or event I go to, I'm expected to have opinions. I don't have to have any ideas today. I just have to sit here with my plain old face and be. So I'm finding it really charming.
With time slipping away, our artists still have some key elements to commit to canvas.
So my mouth isn't right yet. The mouth at the moment's got a little bit too much Elvis in it, so... All right, let's de-Elvis you.
Sinead has got one eye.
He's got one eye.
Love a good face, but one eye. Are you feeling the time pressure? Are you
Could we
going to
throw
make
a narrative on it?
Yeah,
we
no.
do Phantom of the Opera.
That won't work.
No.
You've got to do the eye. You're going to have to do the eye.
Okay.
I can live with one eye.
You can live with one eye.
I don't want to be greedy.
Anna, I'm really liking the way this painting is looking, but more importantly, are you?
I am a lot more now.
Oh, did you have a wobble earlier on?
It did. It went through like a little like puberty phase, if you get me.
Yeah.
It was just looking a bit awkward.
So what's left to do with your time that you have?
The hair.
Yeah.
And then if I do have any more time, then I'll try and add more little bits to the face.
Yeah.
I think the hair's the big one.
Interesting. Okay, so you feel happy about the amount of time you've got left?
I would like more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I am still on track.
Don't panic.
I've got mixed feelings. Part of me is like pure panic of, oh, I still haven't done it. I really want to get the ring on because I know how important it is to Fleur. And also, I'm not happy with that hair. Can't not do justice to hair that good. Oh, but who knows if we're going to get time.
I need more time. I'm just going to try and finish the cat so that we can have Badger included, but I'm not going to get round to a lot of the rest of it.
Home straight. He can just be a blob.
He's just a blob.
Great. That's his favourite look.
I think biggest worry at the moment is just doing a mark all over the eye and then you guys saying, all right, time's up. So I'm still making little changes, but I'm trying not to ruin it at this point.
Our artists have just 10 minutes left to capture a likeness of Fleur East, Richard Curtis and Emma Freud.
It's been tense. It's been a battle.
You've got Fleur in all her glory. You've got the drawing in. Everything's there. Is it tweaking now, or are there still bits that you really need to tackle?
It's not necessarily accurate, but it's about getting an essence of, the perspective on my chair's wrong.
I'm a little bit behind schedule.
Everyone in this section seems to be. Is it the cat's fault?
I think so.
Don't blame it on the boogie.
Exactly.
Blame it on the badger.
I'm panicking now. I've not got enough time. Oh, God.
Artists, you have 5 minutes left.
My hands are shaking so much. I can't do the detail.
I don't know what's happening. OK, Richard, let's give you an eye.
Okay. I'm shaking so much.
Artists, your time is up.
Put down your brushes and stand away from your easels.
After watching the artist's work for 4 hours, our sitters can finally get to see the portraits and choose their favourite one to keep.
Richard, well, the compliments for you as a sitter have been flooding in all day. Well, let's put you and them out of your misery. Artists, can I ask you, please, to turn your easels?
Wow, that is so... what a wonderful world to have such creatures in it. I needn't have bothered wearing the bottom half of my shirt. Why did I worry so much about the trousers?
I mean...
At the start of the day.
The trousers do not feature.
The trousers were not there.
Should we have a closer look?
You look like you were taking a quite tough exam all day. It's really thoughtful. You passed the exam.
Thank you.
With flying colours.
Right, Emily.
I love the idea that I might be that dignified and respectable. It's also quite a nice portrait of Bill Clinton. I really love it.
And Sinead.
Very thoughtful on the eyes, very worried, which I am, to be honest, most of the time, and at this particular moment more than ever. Do I at this moment have to say which one?
I mean, you produce movies.
Yeah.
You have to make hundreds of decisions a day.
Yeah,
doing
that's
that. We just
right.
asked you to make one decision.
Okay, all right, one easy decision. Now, the reason I'm going to decide is because I find life harder and I worry more than I ever tell people. And so I'm actually going to pick Sinead's.
Well done, Sinead.
Artists, would you like to turn your easels round?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I mean, I don't really understand. Looking at my mum, who I adore. I think I'm looking at my granny, also loved. And there's Badger.
Come and meet them.
I love my mascara. And good earring game. Pity about the nose, but that's not your fault. That's my fault. I broke it when I was 13.
Let's move on to Tim.
OK, you know that cheeky thing we talked about?
Yes.
Yep, you nailed it.
Oh, good.
You completely nailed it.
The third one includes the cat.
Look at Badgie! That's so lovely of him. It's a tiny bit scary of me, but maybe I am a tiny bit scary. You did extremely well.
Well, come back now. We've got a choice to make here.
What am I supposed to base this choice on? I'm trying to think which one I look thinnest in, obviously. It's very difficult. I think you're all incredible artists, and I obviously want to take all three of them home. But if I'm genuinely not allowed to, then I'm going to go with Tim.
Artists, can I ask you, please, to turn your easels?
Wow. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is incredible.
You're making me well up.
I'm blown away.
Should we go and take a closer look?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, Melissa.
Melissa, I felt like I was on an emotional roller coaster with you today. But now looking at this, I'm like, what doubt did you ever have in your mind? This is so incredible. You're so talented.
Thank you.
Firstly, Matthew has a great stash of biscuits.
I do. Did you? I didn't know about those.
Yes, I sampled a few. I did not know what to expect from yours, but this is so detailed. And you also got my ring, which means a lot to me.
And Anna.
I am absolutely floored by this. With this one, I feel like I'm feeling it rather than seeing it. It's just moving me, looking at it. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Right, Fleur, come with me. Decision time. Melissa, Matthew, or Anna? Which portrait are you going to take home with you?
This is a really difficult decision because you've captured me in completely different ways. But I think I've made my decision. I have to go with Anna's portrait.
With their challenge over, the artists take a well-earned break. But for the judges, the hard work is just beginning.
Anna spent so long on the face, I was really worried that it wasn't going to give us enough, but then she gave us this incredible hair. It really brings the whole thing together.
I really like the drawn energy of Matthew's work. I like the fact that we got that full length, or almost, the feet aren't in there, portrait, and it works. You know, your eye travels back across the knees.
I love Melissa's pastels. The blending was really interesting. I think there's problems with proportion in this image, but there's a really lovely way that she uses these pastels.
Leah's a fantastic storyteller. I think it's a beautiful painting, a painting there's so much to look at. As a likeness of Emma, I think it's quite harsh.
I think Tim's mistake was not believing in himself. He clearly can paint. We know that from his submission. But I think if he just believed in himself a little bit more, he might have got even further.
I think the compositional choice is just fantastically clever. But for me, Victoria's likeness just isn't there. But I love this high red colour register that she uses, and I think it's original and she's onto something.
Sinead's a great colourist. I don't know how she does it, because the colours she used are quite bonkers, actually. But somehow she's been able to put them all together, and behind it all are those amazing eyes that really engage us.
Emily's submission is fantastic. She's a really well-trained painter. Today wasn't her day. Just beautiful passages of paint, but she just didn't have enough time.
Allegra's certainly caught Richard's eye. It's all incredibly believable and all done in a graphite. It's fantastic.
Artists, thank you for creating so wonderfully all day. We've really enjoyed watching your efforts.
Having studied each of your works, the judges have decided on a short list of 3. The first artist is Leah Brunet-Wong.
The second artist is Anna Loy.
And the third artist is Sinead Lawless.
Oh, I'm feeling absolutely over the moon to have taken part. Hearing the comments has really helped to boost my confidence. I think I'll be on cloud 9 for quite a while.
We were all impressed by the quality of the wall this morning. So 4 hours later, after all the dust has settled, did the paintings produced today live up to the promise?
They certainly did. And what's interesting looking at the artists' work today and with their submission, they all stuck to type.
They're so diverse, yet they're all compelling in their own way. They have enormous character. So these 3 stand out, don't they? Where do we start? We fell in love with Leah from the beginning when we saw her behind the palm tree.
I mean, she uses composition as a way to be a storyteller, and I thought what she did with the plant was really enigmatic. And I think with Emma, you have this thing, which is this fantastic pyramid. It's like a Madonna and cat. But the problem that she had with Emma today was that I think she bit off more than she can chew, and she didn't really leave herself enough time to keep going back to the face as much as I think she wanted to. But I was really pleased to see in the last hour that out of nowhere, she just seemed to be a bit calmer and make some decisions which really elevated the picture.
Now, the expressions here and the eye line, of course, is the same in each of these pictures, but dominates the picture.
You know, if you just look at them, they're just heads with blank spaces behind them. But Anna plays very subtle tricks in her self-portrait. The colour of her hoodie is very subdued, the palette. And today, playing with the purple and the yellow, she's working with sort of alchemy almost, because there's not much going on, but they both really pack a punch.
Sinead's submission is so interesting visually. There's so much going on. There's so much imaginative work. What do you see today in her portrait of Richard that you don't see in her submission?
Well, it really actually demonstrates that she's a great portraitist, because actually you come to the face via a whole host of other things. I mean, like, this is about her life and sorcery, whereas actually here, all of that stripped back, and there's just an absolute gorgeous sensitivity in those eyes.
But to pick up on something that 3 of you have often remarked on, which is the placing of a head within a picture. And I think that's a marvellous demonstration of how you can cut off and place something and make it enormously alive. I think that's a real achievement there.
You're absolutely right, Joan. You know, we often see a sitter where the space in front of their eyes is completely empty, as if that's the projection of their thoughts. And on this occasion, he's sort of glancing over his shoulder, so it's going in the opposite direction. So a very clever decision, very clever placement, but ultimately what she's given us is a really good character study.
So there we go. You've made a choice of 3. Very hard to choose, but a choice has to be made.
Indeed.
Good luck with that. Sinead, Anna, Leah, you've each done well to get to this stage, but only one of you can go forward to the semi-final.
The artist chosen to go through to the next stage created a strong psychological study with a great sensitivity to colour. And that artist is Anna Loy.
It feels mad to win. It was just shock, a bit of horror, a bit of awe, a bit of everything. I think
Anna's portrait is fantastic. I spotted it earlier in the day and I was like, yeah, that looks pretty solid. So, yeah, I think very deserving.
Well done, well done. Very, very brilliant picture.
Anna's definitely a worthy winner in my eyes. Fleur has amazing skin, and I think it would have been such a struggle to capture that, but she did an amazing job.
Going into this, I've never had like formal art training, so to be told that not only am I all right, but I'm quite good.
Well done. We'll see you at the next stage. Anna's given us such a strong portrait of Fleur today. She had the confidence in herself to just paint the way she normally paints. And I want to see her do that again in the semi-final.
I just can't stop smiling as well. I just haven't stopped.
If you want to find out more about the competition and the artists featured, visit our website, skyartsartistoftheyear.tv.
If you would like to see the portraits of Judi Dench painted by our previous winners of the Portrait Artist of the Year series, they'll be on display at the National Portrait Gallery from October 19th.